As usual, my name is Pato MC Patrick Aronitwe. I'm a teacher here at Kabale University doing a bachelor's in education, English and literature. Welcome to the show. With me, I have from the extreme side, Mr. Gelivaz Amprila. Nice to have you, sir.
I take the praise.
Yeah, the camera is there. Nice to have you, sir.
I take the praise.
Yeah, greet the viewers.
I'm glad to be part of this morning talk show as we are going to discuss about different things concerning education, the students, and the perception of the society towards education. And so I'm very happy to be here, and I think after this talk show, the audience will not remain the same.
Thank you, Gelivaz. There is next to Gelivaz is Mr. Ian. Ian, how are you doing?
Very fine. How are you?
Nice to have you on the talk show.
It's a pleasure.
Greet the viewers.
It's a pleasure to be on this talk show. We're here to share about the unfortunate part of the teachers facing the food and so on. By the end of this talk show, we predict ourselves to have got some solutions to some of the problems facing teachers, especially teachers in making and teachers in the field.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next to Ian is Mr. Alod. Alod actually happens to be the interim elected chairman of Poesa. He will basically lead us into how he was brought in, and we dig deep also how teachers at Kabale University have been doing it to make sure that they get together under one umbrella. Alod, how is sir?
Alright, how is you, Mr. Pat?
Good. With the viewers.
Dear viewers, this morning show, it is a good morning and I hope everyone is doing well. We are here on this talk show and we hope for the best of everything. Like he has said, I'm the interim chairperson for Kabale University Education Students Association, the most numbered faculty with so many students. As of now, the estimate of teachers under making, they're about 4,000. And to the worst, the numbers are high, but the faculty is never given ample time. We have so many challenges so far, and it is really disgusting. But we hope by the end of this talk show, we shall have provided a number of solutions, and we shall be. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's told us that actually in the education faculty there are lots and lots of problems, and he's not dug into them. But we shall later come into that. Let me begin with Ian. Ian, according to you, who is a teacher, and what should be, that perception of a teacher by the audience?
Thank you very much, moderator. Basically, a teacher is every person in this world. As long as you're capable of make someone learn anything, you are a teacher. However, there is also this group of teachers that went to school and they are teachers by profession and teachers by being trained. That's the real teacher we're now going to talk about in this podcast and this particular program. We see different aspects. Everyone takes a teacher in a different way. There are people who take teachers as the first mentors in the world. There are people who take teachers as very local people, like how the government does in Uganda and so on. And there are also people who take teachers as average people. So it depends on someone's mindset. However, I can define the teacher as someone who owns the future of a certain country, nation, or a state. That's how I can find a teacher.
Thank you. Next to, let me go to Gelivaz or Mr. Gavis. Gavis, according to you, who is a teacher, and what would you like the audience or the person out there who sees a teacher and doesn't know who is a teacher? Who is a teacher according to you, and what would you like the audience to understand the teacher as?
Thank you, moderator. In the first place, I want to thank all the teachers and those countries which have actually tried to implement and uplift the status quo of teachers in many ways. A teacher is that very person who nurture a child from nothing and elevates that very child to something. A teacher is a person who wants to make an impact on someone's life. A teacher is that very person who has a feeling, that very person who sacrifices himself to make a child someone important in the world. So that's how I can actually explain who a teacher is. A person who sacrifices to create an impact on someone's life. And his role, I think, can't be even played by anyone else. Because when a parent sends his child to school, that means that that he also treasures the what? He also treasures the teachers, because he himself cannot do that very work a teacher does. And so that's why most of the parents try to send their children to school. And almost I believe that most of the people in the world have embraced this, and that's why they send their children to school, and so they trust their children that they are in safe hands when they are with teachers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gilbert. Coming to adults, teachers are living together under their slogan, "The nation is because we are." How valid and how true is this?
Well, thank you, our MC tonight. But before that, according to my perception, I believe everyone is a teacher, depending on where they are and depending on which group of people they are living with. For instance, if you are a family head, you are a teacher to your family members, your sons and daughters, be it your wife, you, provided you have the ability to guide someone to do something right, it means you are a teacher. Then coming on your view that the nation is because we are. You are asking me how valid is the statement. Depending on the current status quo of situations teachers are facing in Uganda, I believe that slogan or that motto is about 40% or 30% vivid. Why do I say that? Teachers are facing so many challenges countrywide. Take an example, the current example of payments, inequalities in payments. Teachers have been discriminated in terms of payments. You find an arts teacher is given 800,000, a science teacher is given 4M, and the unfortunate part of it, the president of this country said art science teachers should be given 4M. But not every science teacher on government payroll is given 4M. Some of them are still getting 800, and their salaries come late when actually they have a lot of expenses. You find you're a teacher, but you cannot take your child in the first world school. Your children are also suffering like the children of the peasantry. It is quite unfortunate. The working conditions of teachers, they are the ones working under force. You find the head teachers are discriminating the female teachers sexually. You find they are not given ample time to rest. They are working 24 hours. The feeding mothers who are teachers, they are not given a good room to go and attend to their little babies and young ones. So, depending on the problems teachers are facing, I still stand to say that slogan is vivid by 30%. Thank you so much.
By 30%. So
Yes,
you're basically saying it is not valid.
it is not
it's
valid at all.
appropriate.
Indeed.
Next to, let me go to Mr. Ian. Because we are, the nation is. Do you really think the nation is because teachers are?
I'm very surprised you're talking about that motto in a country where it has not even happened. Maybe if you are from America or from any other country, I would believe it. But in Uganda, where a profession is based on the political agenda of someone, we don't expect that profession to proceed. We are looking at teachers in a way that they have been discriminated politically. The business of teaching, the profession of teaching has been discriminated on political lines. It is therefore so hard for us to believe that the nation is because we are. No. I just believe if that is going to happen, it is only and only if teachers participate directly in their profession. We are looking at the way the government is discriminating teachers by their pay. If you look at how science teachers are paid and art teachers are paid, you will see a very big difference. Teachers of science, yes, science is very important, but arts are also important. You can't live in a world without arts. I don't know if you get my point. In this case, we look at the way how there is a marginal scale between the two salaries. There is no way you can motivate an art teacher to go and teach a student to pass in the same way the science teacher is teaching, and you expect results from such a system of education. We look into even the bigger systems. We look at the people who lead the education system, starting from the ministers, state ministers, going down. We see how they do their things. All their things on political agendas. We don't expect teachers in Uganda to have a better life in 3 years to come. I must say that. We don't expect it. And therefore, the motto that the nation is because we are, it remains a myth. It's like judging a fish by its ability to climb. There is no way you can judge a fish by its ability to climb because it cannot. You get my point? Teachers are there, they are just figures. They find you as an MC Pato, they say MC Pato is a teacher. It remains at that. But being a profession and so on in Uganda is only a mystery. And therefore I don't give it any evidence. I don't give it any value that the nation is because we are. Because teachers, we are not given that priority in this country. We don't have that say. We don't have that ground to change the country. We are doing it just because we don't know what to do. Thank you very much.
Do you think teachers or you teachers in the making, you're just getting into the field, you already know what problems you face, what your elder teachers face, but you're already getting into the system you know that is actually bad. Are you getting into to mold you it, or you're getting into just to be professionals in the teaching?
I must tell you that in Uganda, we the youth, we are hopeless. Some of the times we do courses just because we don't have what to do. Becoming teachers, most of us, some of us, we have it in blood. Feel you should become a teacher. However, the situations outside, we don't think the situations outside favor us. You end up being a teacher, you be a teacher and you end up working in television. You be a teacher, you end up driving a car. You be a teacher, you end up on the border. Not because what you study you never liked, but because of those marginal issues that are happening. This teaching profession in Uganda is basically converging and helping a few, the minority. The majority of them are suffering. If you look at the teachers in the private sector, how they are treated, where they sleep, the money they are given, how they teach all year round. Someone teaches from January to January but can't buy a new trouser. In the private sector. For the government ones, yes, they are paid, but there are some ones where they are not given money. So these professionals are there just because they are hopeless. Just do this, whatever happens will happen. They are just waiting for what to pass.
That is, we are living in a nation where we see teachers earn and the nation is not. Because we earn, the nation is. I'm reading this one. The primary teacher so far is paid 490,000. When you subtract the other taxes, you basically find he's getting 420,000. In this economy we are living in, a person actually literally spends as little as 20,000. When you calculate that amount, it doesn't get correspondent to the amount that the teacher is getting per month. Do you think the teachers are paying counted in the slogan because we are the nation of peace.
I really don't think that slogan should actually be tested in some of the countries, because even an idea of that, for me, I even feel it. Currently in Uganda, they have brought up the new systems, and the government feels like it has actually made some reforms in the education sector. They have brought this new curriculum. Are teachers well equipped, or do they know what this new curriculum is? The government itself has its own weakness, because even these candidates who are becoming candidates in Form 3, they have not received some of the texts of the new curriculum. And those are education reforms that they have implemented. Are teachers in class teaching? No, teachers are not. Even when the government tried to bring these phones, the teachers come to schools, they enroll. After enrolling, they go back to their own businesses. Teachers have no passion.
Are you not as a teacher doing a disservice that you're supposed actually to be doing? You're supposed to be going to the class and
Understand
teaching.
me. I'm trying to bring up my point. Teachers, they are in school, but are they teaching? This is the question. Look at the learners and sympathize with the learners. A teacher is a bachelor holder and he's on. The government has failed to actually employ teachers in its government schools. There are those teachers who are working in the government schools and they are not on pay. The salary they get is 350. And now, a person who is a bachelor holder just earning 300, imagine, has to pay rent, has children at home, and is teaching the children of the nation. And after you praise yourself that the nation is because we are, really, I really don't think that actually these teachers are in pieces. How will your children be sent away from school due to lack of school fees, and for you are teaching the children of the nation, and you feel proud that the nation is because you are? I really don't believe in such sayings. I will just call them, they are just pretoids, like they just want to please the people and they feel like what, but they are just nothing. There is a lot to be done for the teachers to feel proud of themselves. Currently, if this president from Seven, I think was Obote. If Obote came today, he would cry. Because the way he treated teachers now is actually different from the way teachers. Because when I read history of Obote during his time, even most of the schools were constructed. Students were well respected and they were well fed. Yellow corn, fish, and the rest of the meals. And each school was given a van. And history has it clear that most of the vans that Obote had, they were actually taken, like Kongwani had a van, like lorries, and most of those lorries they were taken by Museveni during the bush. And actually those schools still demand the same, their vans, they still demand them, but they have actually refused to return them back to the fund. And so, really, is it true that the nation is because teachers are? That remains question. Now we go to the teachers. Teachers in schools, most of the parents feel like their children are safe in the hands of the teachers. But I believe there are some of the teachers who try to engage in sexual relations even in the universities with the students. This is a pity to them, and in most cases, actually, when these cases come on board, even the government has failed to intervene. Even the teachers, when they feel like this teacher has been engaged in a sexual intercourse with this student, they don't mind about it. And then, where is the education now heading to? These are very many issues, and now the students who are in class, very innocent. A teacher whose children have been sent from school eating 350 shillings. Do you think that he's going to do what is expected of him? I really don't think. So there is a lot that the country has to do for the teachers. With this new curriculum, you know that there is a lot that must be done in the schools. First of all, the way to do schools will do it better and will produce the quality students. But there are those schools, because there is woodwork in most of the schools. Some of the schools, a student at the end of senior 4 has like 3 certificates. They have that one of senior 4 O level and a certificate of either woodwork or either plumbing and others. But there's the payment, the fees payment or the fees structure is not the same. You find like someone who's doing plumbing is paying like 800, which is actually not part of the school fees. I find like the school fees is also like 700, and you find like it's actually paying over 1 point something. And this student, when he goes out with the 2 certificate is very different from that very person who is in that very local school, which is just doing nothing, but from the other skilled activities or skilled work. And so, is this new curriculum trying to defend and be beneficial to all citizens or to some other big schools? The government should think about that and electrify it before things go nice.
Do you predict that one time things will be a mess to the side of teachers and actually learners?
Yeah, it will be a mess because even when you look at the structure, for me, I'm a language teacher. You find Swahili, a literature, Nyankore Luchiga, they are combined. The government has not made a clear structure that the student can study like literature, can study like this. It is just one. You find like, I think even on the timetable when you look clearly, it will be like, it will be just the same time. So a student will choose only one language. But I think it will be an opportunity for a student to study both literature and Swahili at the same time. But when you try to combine them and you fix the timetable like a student should choose one of those languages, it will really be unfair to the class. That is what is on the ground.
But I think that will be kind of creating a job opportunity for the other languages learners. I mean, we have ala becoming compulsory. We have this Kiswahili also becoming compulsory, and we have also literature, which is also part of English. Is it not an opportunity rather than a mess, as you said?
No, you're not trying to understand me. A student at the end of senior 4 will select one language on all those languages, and will be the one exam on all those languages. But now it will be a disadvantage to me. Because right away from O level, from senior 1, this student might think that for me I love literature, and so he's going to concentrate on literature only. But rather, if he had another interest of choosing Swahili, he would also study what? Study Swahili. You see? That means that teachers of English, if like Swahili has become compulsory, that will be a disadvantage to the other literature teachers and actually literature students who would like offer it. Because now it will be compulsory Swahili, and now teachers, everyone will go for what? Will go for Swahili. You see? But now that one will become a disadvantage to the rest of the language. So it is not systematic. Like a person should choose like 2 languages, like one, and study them. It will be very, very, very difficult.
Thank you, Gavis. Coming to Arnold, do you think from the time you came to school, or do you think the teachers have been treated the right way they should be treated from the time you came to school and now you're becoming a graduate teacher? Do you think your role models have been treated the way they are supposed to be treated?
Thank you very much, Mr. Pat. Like I said in the beginning, I said teachers are facing numerous challenges. But before I come to that, there are some questions you asked my colleagues here. You asked that, do you think teachers are getting into the profession because they feel they should get into the profession? Currently, we have a belief that if you go to the university and graduate, you have your documents, and then the best thing you can do, try hard, secure yourself a school from where you shall go, teach for at least 4 years, then find yourself starting capital and operate a business, simply because there is no future in the profession. Secondly, he's talking about the new curriculum. He talked about the new curriculum of present. It just imagine the professors. It was this current curriculum was designed by the chancellors and vice chancellors of universities across the country. Imagine the whole chancellor sitting down to draft the curriculum for a nursery one, a senior one, senior three Ugandan from deep in the village. I happened to share my experience with one of my colleagues, and he's actually a big person in this government. What he told me, said the government is aiming at prolonging the education system so that these stubborn youth, I mean you, they are talking about you, that you should get time to spend a lot of time in the profession so that you don't disturb them with your greed for employment, salaries and whatever. So before we change the government, I still say teachers are going to face the same challenges and they are going to suffer the best of everything. Talked about I would like to bring to your understanding that currently in Uganda, in Ugandan schools, when you speak your local language in some school, or if you happened to speak your local language in your previous primary, secondary schools, they would beat you to death. They would design you, dress you into attack, do what? The nest of everything you faced in case you did. But go to let these Chinese come in Uganda. When a Chinese speaks your local language, they will praise him. When an Englishman comes in Uganda, he speaks the local language, they praise him. But let the Ugandan speak the local language, you will see the problem. Now, all that is intended to take us into a prison for which I think it is not going to benefit us. Instead, we should be emphasizing the issue that we should know our mother languages to promote our patriotism spirits, that we shall be in position to fight for our country. For example, they are going to bring English, you will be good English speakers, but what will it help you? Well, you will have to communicate, right? But there are so many challenges. Why is an Englishman not beaten because he has spoken his language? We still have a lot to do. Coming into your question, teachers, of recent, I happen to be from an area where our MP is the part of the big persons in this government. But the schools are in a worst situation. If you can look at the teachers, staff quarters where they're living in different schools, they are really in sorry states. Of recent, I happen to saturate, and maybe there is another person, on Kakwenza, Ruchirabasheja of Rukunjiri, he happened to saturate a structure of Kajonjo Primary School in Ruhinda, where he captioned the speak that this is one of the schools from the area of the biggest chief in this government, Honorable Jim Wes, and so many schools in the area, sincerely speaking, on top of low salaries, for which they also delay. In recent months, we had teachers' salaries delayed for almost 3 months. Can you imagine?